Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. We are just waiting. We will give Commissioner Akbar just a few minutes to join us. I can see some of her team members are already online. I'm sure Commissioner Akbar will join us shortly so that she can give us the opening remarks. So I apologize for keeping you waiting, and we will monitor the arrival of the Commissioner. We will give Commissioner Akbar 2 minutes to join us. If there's any issue, I can see that the Commissioner's team is online. If there's any issue, please feel free to reach me. You know how to reach me. Thank you. So it is now 12:05 GMT. Unfortunately, we were not able to have Commissioner Akbar join us in time. In the interest of time, we will proceed with the rest of the opening ceremony. And when Commissioner Akbar joins us, we will give her the floor for her formal opening remarks. Again, ladies, gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm now calling this meeting to order. Let me start by thanking you for making the time to join us despite your respective busy schedule. We hope that the information and the insights you will get from this meeting will be worthy of your time. My name is Fati Nzi-Hassane. I'm in charge of AUD and EPAD's delivery in the areas of human capital and institutions development. I will be your master of ceremony today. Before we start, I would like to inform you that the meeting is being recorded for ease of reference. If there is any concern or issue with this arrangement, please reach out to the team. I would like to remind you a few ground rules that have helped us achieve a great meeting every time we met in the past, and that we would like to also apply today. First, I wish to inform you that this meeting is being interpreted live from English to French and vice versa. Please use the translation button as needed. Tout d'abord, nous vous informons que la session est traduite du français vers l'anglais et vice-versa. Pour accéder à la fonction traduction, veuillez utiliser le bouton en bas de votre écran. Secondly, I would like to request all participants to keep their microphones muted and switch off their cameras. To ensure a good bandwidth, I suggest only the speakers unmute and put their cameras on when they speak. The third and last concern is about keeping time. We have a very dense agenda today, so it is important that we keep time during the presentation and the speeches. In the interest of time, we have opted not to devote a specific time slot for discussion. Rather, we welcome any comment and question in the chat box. The team is ready to respond during or after the session to any queries you may direct to AUD and EPAD. Next slide, please. Thank you. The agenda for today is as shared with you by email. We have an opening ceremony with remarks from the champions of the initiative, naming Commissioner Sarah Akbar, representing the African Union Commission, and Dr. Ibrahim May, CEO of AUD and EPAD, and your host for today. We'll spend a little over 1 hour hearing from partners who have already committed to the initiative to get a better understanding of the reasons that made them join us. Note that these are only the partners with which we have active partnerships and not the numerous institutions that are currently engaging with us or even in the final stage of forming a partnership. We have quite a high level of representation in the speakers. I am grateful for your attendance today, and I will of course recognize you individually when you are about to take the floor. And then we will wrap up with a few words from our CEO and formal closing from Commissioner Akbar. Without further ado, let me give the floor to the CEO of AUD and EPAD, Dr. Ibrahim May. Let me just check 1 second if Commissioner Akbar was ready to join us, able to join us in the meantime. No. So I will give the floor to Dr. Ibrahim May. Sir, please, if you can give us a few words of introduction to set the tone and remind us of the objectives of this meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fati. And let me recognize my dear brother, CEO Ade, and maybe the commissioner is connected, and she can't see us for now, but I'm quite sure that she will join us, and also recognize all the distinguished participants who are here, partners interested in this initiative, which is a collectively owned initiative, which we position as a critical post-COVID reconstruction instrument. I do not like the expression post-COVID, because we are not yet there. We saw what happened in India. We are realizing that the third wave is happening in Africa, especially in Southern Africa. I just came back from Namibia, and I really sensed the urgency of having vaccination as the best economic strategy for now, because without vaccination will not be able to move forward. And the most tragic issue in Namibia, for example, is not the lack of vaccines, because we have vaccines for everyone, for all the population, which is not quite big, but it's the reluctance to get vaccinated. And we see it also in my country, Niger, reluctance to get vaccinated. So I flag this issue because fundamentally it has to do with the mindset, with modes of communication, with how modes of communication affect the mindset, and how it reminds us that every solution, every technical solution that we put in place needs a social, psychological, and political environment. And it is a transition that I will make towards the 100,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises initiative. When we started thinking about this initiative, within the more global initiative of job creation of the AU, we wanted to create the necessary conditions, political conditions, organizational conditions, managerial conditions, mindset conditions, social conditions that would allow this initiative to take place based on a transformational perspective. And the transformational perspective was the following. Most of those who work in the continent work in the informal sector, and most of those who work in the informal sector are in micro and small and medium enterprises. So if we do not transform this informal system so that it gets a higher efficiency and it can absorb formally more jobs, then we will face problem, even without COVID. But with COVID and the consequences of COVID, it becomes much more important today. And the first partner who really supported us in doing that was EcoBank. And I would like to salute the leadership of CEO Ade, who put his mind, his energy, and his motivation in order to make sure that we could move forward. We are the Continental Development Agency of the African Union. We are starting to get our working order so that we can have a clear path on the issues that are related to the transformation of a continent in a concrete manner, because we will be evaluated on the concreteness of the impacts that we'll be able to realize on the ground. So partnering with EcoBank was an essential factor in the process of settling this initiative intelligently, smartly, and with the right partnership. And I can't continue without mentioning the role that Asha Leke did play. I could say McKinsey, because he's a brilliant brain of McKinsey. But his humility pushes me to mention the fact that beyond being a brilliant mind, he is devoted, committed to the development of a continent. So it's one thing to do your job according to terms of reference. Is another thing to really put all your energy behind a strong motivation. And he's really an illustration of that. And I would like to thank him very warmly, because we have benefited from his brilliant mind and from his motivation. So I started my speech without following my formal speech. And when you start your speech, you are following your formal speech, you relook at your papers and you try to see which paragraph will allow you to be coherent with what comes next. So I think we have, during the pilot phase, we have a total of 247 micro, small, and medium enterprises who successfully completed a 4-week enterprise development virtual training, which focused on business entrepreneurial skills. And in these milestones, we have been able to launch the initiative in 13 member states. It doesn't seem important, but it is, for me, considerable. But in such a short time, we did 13. Now, evidently, as CEO Ayeyemi will tell us, we need to accelerate. But we are ready to accelerate, and we have the necessary elements which can allow us to accelerate. Evidently, it was achieved. This milestone was achieved thanks to existing and upcoming partnerships with most organizations present here today. And we are making a pledge towards increasing the span of partnership, because this is the right way to go. As I was saying, we have a collective responsibility to make it work. And the partnerships, the quality of a partnership we have built is a factor that can allow other partners to come in a very concrete path. McKinsey, as I was saying, and EcoBank have always been with us since the beginning. They have fed us with their thinking, and we have been interacting in order to produce positive outcomes. But other partners who have brought expertise and funding to this initiative include, evidently, the African Union Commission, UNDP, the World Bank, UNIDO, USAID, Synapse, Microsoft, and Trade TV. Our ambition now has been expanded to reach over 1.5 million MSMEs in Africa by providing them with entrepreneurial and business skills training, improving their access in finance and new markets, as well as establishing networks for support and incubation. However, this goal, which is ambitious, will only be a reality if we put more effort to ensure quality training, demand-driven curriculum, and access to financing and market solutions at national, regional, and continental levels. These 3 levels are very important because they create a chain of complementarity. And the critical level in this chain is the regional one. These efforts we put in will determine our future results for the targeted 1.5 million MSMEs. But if we fail, we will be failing Africa and its majority of youth who are still struggling to get job opportunities after their graduation so that they can get their daily livelihood. When I say if we fail, we will be failing Africa, it also means that individually we will be failing from our side. I'm not talking for viewers, but I'm talking for the African Union, side. And in this context of transformation of the AU, all positive stories coming from the transformation will increase the relevance of the African Union. At the moment where we flag very strong initiatives. African Medicine Agency, Continental Free Trade Agreement. We are moving in many directions. When we move in many directions and we don't make sure that we are clear in each one of the directions we're moving, and we rally partners in that clarity, if we don't do that and we don't get to failure, it will be individual failures. And evidently, we don't want it to happen. The efforts we put will really help us embrace all three main projects components, but include the MSME Academy, MSME Finance, and MSME Market, which aim to accelerate access to capacities, finance, and it's a tautology, markets for African MSMEs. So our consistency towards the three components will frame the success of this critical project for the continent. And this is in line with the attainment of Agenda 2063, Aspiration 1. Agenda 2063, let me mention it in a parenthesis, is more relevant today than it was before. And Aspiration 1 on building a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development is extremely evidently pertinent. And notably, according to the International Finance Corporation, about 70% of Africa's total employment is contributed by MSMEs. Sometimes I read it 70, sometimes I read it 80%. But this huge percentage highlights how critical these MSMEs are for building Africa's socio-economic development. This is why, in the context of a pandemic, we thought the best way to build resilience against economic shock triggered by the crisis is by ensuring that the investments by MSMEs owned by young entrepreneurs, remember, 75% of Africans are under 25, owned by young entrepreneurs are protected and promoted so that they can create more contribution to our economy. So without further ado, let me take this opportunity to commend my team for making significant efforts to ensure the success of this event. Most importantly, I would like to thank all our partners who have been working very hard, tirelessly with us to ensure that the 100,000 MSMEs initiative delivers its planned objective to address challenges facing our young entrepreneurs around the continent. And I reiterate my continued support to this continent, its people, even after the end of my tenure, which is soon, and please spread the word so that more competent CEOs can come after me. And I do believe that the incoming CEO, who will be more competent than I am, will continue to implement this initiative at the highest speed and efficiency to ensure that Africans are economically liberated. We are on our own. As you have seen, Latin America, South America, it's shaping its own future. Europe, it's thinking about itself. The US, under the Biden administration, is making sound openings toward the cooperation with the rest of the world and the continent. But they have their own economic agenda, injecting trillions in infrastructure so that they can build a strong America. China is looking at Asia, Africa also, but it's looking at its internal market. Africa cannot go behind where it is today. We need to go forward. And we have the instruments, we have the capacities, we have the human capabilities. So it depends on really our determination to move forward and make sure that the commitments we take are effectively implemented. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Let me now give the floor to Her Excellency Sarah Agbo, who was able to join us just now. Sarah Agbo is the Commissioner of Human Resources, Science and Technology at the African Union Commission. Commissioner, Your Excellency, it is such a privilege to have you with us today and to have benefited from your leadership and your championship ever since 100,000 SMEs was merely an idea. We thank you for attending, and you have the floor for your official welcome remarks. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Fati. I've been struggling with network since we're working from home, as today is elections day in Ethiopia. So we are not allowed to step out of the house. Your Excellency, Dr. Mayaki, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on wherever you are. I am honored to have been invited to participate. It's echoing, why? Sarah.
It is echoing, Your Excellency.
Can you hear the echo?
Yes, but it's slight, and we understand the technical challenges. So I think you can proceed, Excellency.
Maybe I should switch off from one. Let me just switch off from one. I'm sorry, Fati, I'm sorry. Hi.
It is fine, Excellency.
It's fine, okay.
Yes.
I'm honored to have been invited to participate at this first anniversary of the launch of the 100,000 Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Initiative. This event is a key milestone, as stated by His Excellency, the CEO, Dr. Mayaki, in our implementation of the 1 million by 2021 initiative of His Excellency, Dr. Musa Faki Mahamat, that sought to offer concrete opportunities to young people in Africa in the areas of education, entrepreneurship, employment, and engagement. This is also with the recognition that investment made today in providing opportunities for youth in these areas will determine the development trajectory of the continent over the next 50 years. Like His Excellency, Dr. Mayaki did say, this anniversary of the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Initiative ensures that the investment of our young people or young entrepreneurs are protected. Our commemoration today is also important as it affirms that we are on the right path in accelerating Africa's economic transformation and including resilience against economic shocks triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic. We are very much aware of the monumental challenges that this initiative focus on micro, small, and medium enterprises seek to address. Significantly, as my big brother, His Excellency, Dr. Mayaki stated, African youth constitute about 37% of the working age population, and over 60% are below the age of 25, but account for more than 60% of all African unemployed people. According to the African Development Bank, of Africa's nearly 420 million youth aged 15 to 35, 1/3 are unemployed and discouraged. Another third are vulnerably employed, and only 1 in 6 is in wage employment. Significantly, many African countries are therefore confronting a crisis in youth employment, with young people facing a difficult process in entering the world of work. This is also affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The quality of employment available to young people is also increasingly an issue for concern, with many young people in vulnerable and sometimes informal employment. A major facet of this crisis is a mismatch between training and labor market needs that further leads to jobs not being filled due to skills gap. This is because there are many people with certificates, but these certificates do not lead to the future of work, and so many remain unemployed. Therefore, there is need for us to go through a recalibration, a rebranding, and a redefinition of our curriculum in order to make the certificates employable to the industry. As the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution create new pressures on labor markets, opportunities should be created for reskilling and upskilling in order to enhance competitiveness. COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the situation for young people in Africa, with potential job losses in key productive sectors, notably hospitality, transport, among others, for which micro, small, and medium enterprises play a pivotal role. The micro, small, and medium enterprises initiative is therefore quite timely as we empower young people to be masters of their destiny through entrepreneurial and business skills training, improving their access to finance and new markets while establishing networks and linkages for support. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a key success factor of this ambitious initiative hinges upon quality entrepreneurial training and business development support services. We must leverage on the opportunities from the partnerships we already have, such as with HP, Microsoft, among others, who offer courses in entrepreneurship, ICT, and soft skills that are essential for any successful enterprise. In many countries in Africa, the overall labor market situation is not encouraging, particularly given the ravages of COVID-19, which has taken a massive toll on Africa, hitting tourism-dependent economies, oil exporting economies, and other resource-intensive economies the hardest, as well as deepening inequality. This is awfully bad news for job creation in the short term. Entrepreneurship is therefore a key driver towards the structural economic transformation of the continent, with the potential to create millions of jobs, generate innovations in fields such as technology, agriculture, and transportation, and serve as a vehicle for economic and social empowerment of African women and youth. Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while many countries in Africa face the challenge of youth unemployment, the employment barriers facing young people differ across countries, as do the policy options to address these barriers. This means that we also need an in-depth understanding of country-specific issues. At the continental level, we pride ourselves on the array of enabling policy instruments, which, when adopted to national priorities and effectively implemented, will spur their desired economic growth for the Africa we want and the vision of Agenda 2063. These instruments include the Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy for Africa, CSA 2024, where enterprises play a vital role as fulcrum for research, adaptation, and diffusion of technological know-how. This is also echoed in the Continental Strategy for Technical and Vocational Education and Training to foster youth employment, with a paradigm shift on development of TVET systems that prepare young people to become job creators rather than job seekers. Additionally, the Continental Education Strategy for Africa, CSA 1625, is one of its guiding principles, also buttresses this point further by considering quality and relevant education and research as core for scientific and technological innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. It therefore follows that entrepreneurship
Hello, Excellency. Commissioner Akbar. Unfortunately, it seems that we have lost Commissioner Akbar. We lost her.
I will send her a WhatsApp. Yeah.
Commissioner Akbar, you're back.
Yes.
Back online.
Okay. It therefore follows that entrepreneurship is a key enabler for young people to be active in the labor market. But youth need support to put such an ambition in practice. That is why I am pleased and applaud this initiative, because it is concretely delivering for young people in Africa, as it is facilitating their access to business advice, mentoring, and finance. In conclusion, let me emphasize that it is also important that we do not forget to leverage on the opportunities accorded by the emerging digitally enabled, complex, and fast-changing world. The growth potential of the ever-dynamic digital economy presents enormous opportunity to tackle the challenge of youth employment with a robust focus on fostering youth-led digital entrepreneurship. This opportunity must be fully and innovatively harnessed to change African youth development narratives for the better of the Africa we want. The African Union Commission will continue to play its brokerage role towards facilitating the realization of Agenda 2063 and the African Union vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in international arena. As our societies become more multicultural and globalized, knowledge of Pan-Africanism is also a significant element of a well-rounded education and training. I also hope that part of the training being offered under this initiative encompasses opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area. This will ultimately enrich experiences of the entrepreneurs under this initiative by heightening their awareness of and sensitivity to opportunities beyond their national borders. I want to congratulate you all for this important milestone, and especially the desire and ambition to scale up the initiative and reach over 1.5 million micro, small, and medium enterprises in Africa. Congratulations to Dr. Mayaki and his team for making this come true and giving dreams and visions of implementation, walking the talk, going beyond rhetoric to young African entrepreneurs. Indeed, through entrepreneurship, we shall ultimately create a sizable engine of decent employment generation and make an important contribution to sustainable development and driving economic growth in Africa. Thank you very much. Fati, over to you.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Excellence. Thank you for your wise words, your uplifting words, and your leadership throughout the whole process. When we started designing the 100,000 MSMEs initiative, McKinsey and Company agreed to work pro bono with us. The McKinsey team have supported our engagement with a wide range of stakeholders. They provided valuable and candid input. They helped us challenge our own beliefs and assumptions. And they helped us come up collectively with something that we see as unique and as responding to the needs of the African MSMEs. Please allow me to give the floor to someone who was personally invested in the success of this initiative, Dr. Acha Leke, Chairman for Africa of McKinsey and Company, so that he can walk us through the reasons why his organization jumped on the 100,000 SMEs train at an early stage. Acha, s'il te plaît.
Merci Fati, and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. And again, thanks for the opportunity to share a few words here, and thanks again to Dr. Mackey for those nice words. But we know when Dr. Mackey and the team from EcoBank called us and said, would we be willing to help and support this? Of course, we jumped at the opportunity and said yes, because we feel this is a critical initiative that'll have a fundamental difference on the continent. Right, as a McKinsey, we believe that part of our role is not just to serve, private sector companies, but it's also to really play, whatever role we can in helping support and accelerate the economic development and economic growth of the continent. And we know MSMEs are fundamental to that, to our economic growth. Right, there are 90 million MSMEs in Africa today. 95%, like the commissioner was talking about, are micro, less than 10 people, right, to really, really small. 84% are not registered, right, so they really have a number of issues. We'll come back to that. But they account for, over 80% of all the private sector employment in the continent, right? So if we're really going to take the continent to the next level, and we know that employment is one of the big issues we have, we need to find a way to support MSMEs. Now, even before the crisis, they were facing challenges, right? Challenges around financing, as we know well. How to raise financing for MSMEs has always been an issue. Challenges around, having the right skills and capabilities they needed. Challenges around being connected to opportunities, right? So that was even before the crisis. And then the crisis hit, and it hit them harder than sort of the average company on the continent, right? As when we did the work, we realized that the 90 million MSMEs in Africa needed about $60 billion just to survive over a few months. But if you put all the stimulus packages that our governments had announced, when the focus on MSMEs, that amounted to 20 billion. So there's a massive gap between the 60 they needed and the 20 billion that was announced. Secondly, this 20 billion was really going to be targeted and channeled mainly for registered SMEs. You need to be registered to have access to it. But as I said, only about 15% of SMEs are registered. So that was the second challenge. And the third was that, these SMEs, because the inherent nature of the business, they don't have cushions, right? Savings that they can rely on in difficult times. So they're even more vulnerable than the others, the other companies. And so we felt it was actually quite critical to develop a comprehensive program, this 100,000 SMEs, building on what the AUD and EPAD had started with already. A really comprehensive program of support for them, and not just to support them during the crisis, but also support them long after the crisis, because these are issues that, as we said, they faced even before the crisis. And so we worked hand in hand with the teams at AUD and EPAD, the teams at EcoBank. We did the diagnostic, we spoke, we surveyed over 500 MSMEs in Africa and really understood sort of the challenges they had. I came up with this program that Dr. Mackey spoke about, anchored around three components, right? There's the academic component, training and skill building. There's a financing component, right, to make sure they have access to some of the financing they need. And there's a marketplace to make sure they have access to opportunities, all, of course, underpinned by a digital platform. We engaged in many of you as partners and got you excited about it and got you signed up to support it. So thank you very much for that. That was a highlight of part of the work we did. But personally, what gets me a lot more excited is how fast when we can come all together to celebrate having touched the 1,500,000 SME, 500 million SME, 500,000, right? 1,500,000 SME across the continent. because that's really what this is about. It's really having an impact and making a difference in the lives of many of our SMEs on the continent. So Fati, on that note, I'll hand over back to you, but thanks again very much for being here. And again, thank you on behalf of McKinsey for the opportunity to partner with you on this journey.
Thank you very much, Dr. Leke, and looking forward to continuing the collaboration on the 100,000 MSMEs. Another strategic and early partner of the 100,000 MSMEs initiative, as it was mentioned by both Dr. Mayaki and Dr. Leke, is EcoBank Group. EcoBank was not only supportive of the idea since 2019, when they provided all the logistics for our inaugural continental training session for SMEs, they were also the first partner to actually help us finance our activities and to provide training and funding in the form of commercial loans to the MSMEs entering the program. At AUDA NEPAD, we consider the partnership with EcoBank as the blueprint of the way we wish to engage with African commercial banks and financial institutions. And we can only hope that this partnership will inspire other prestigious stakeholders to try and match this level of commitment. To give you an update on the EcoBank Group / AUDA NEPAD partnership, let's turn the floor to Mr. Ade Ayeyemi, CEO of EcoBank Transnational. Mr. Ayeyemi, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Fati. Thanks for inviting us to participate today. Your Excellencies, Commissioner Professor Sarah Agbo, Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki, my dear brother Ashaleke, very eminent guests and participants at this event. I greet you all on this August occasion for the first anniversary of the 100,000 MSMEs initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, EcoBank is a pioneer Pan-African banking group, which has made it imperative for us to contribute to the building blocks of Africa, and indeed the Agenda 2063 of the African Union, and in this instance, the AUDA NEPAD. Our long-standing relationship with the African Union is testament to our commitment to the continent in line with our purpose. About a year ago, when the COVID-19 redefined the way we live, work, and collaborate, we kept our fingers on the pulse of the continent. Our African MSMEs, the strong headwinds required immediate action coupled with medium to long-term plan. The tripartite alliance between AUDA NEPAD and EcoBank Group and McKinsey provided strong framework for collaboration and actualization of our objectives. As a bank, we committed significant resources to the alliance, in addition to acting in all our 33 markets on the continent to strengthen MSMEs. Some of these measures include proactively putting in place mitigating actions, for instance, on tenor extension and moratorium on interest to assist our clients manage their loan repayments. They want to pay, but it's just that there is a problem, and therefore we need to support them. We provided a platform for our customers to safely carry out their transactions using our various digital channels, while also providing customers with the capability to make payments remotely, giving them the freedom to settle their obligations smoothly and without interruption. We are proud to have had the opportunity to work with AUDA NEPAD and to use our knowledge and expertise to contribute to the design of a framework for a continental response. The framework reaffirmed the 3 pillars of MSMEs to build resilience in these uncertain times, specifically access to capabilities, access to markets, and access to finance. And I put it in those order because honestly, access to finance is the easiest, but you need to do something with the finance to sell to a market. And for you to sell something, you need to have those capabilities. As such, we commend the AUDA NEPAD, who sees ethos of partnership to advance Africa's transformation, continue to bring us together for the good of the continent. At EcoBank, in embracing the concept and the objective of 100,000 MSMEs, we consider the pioneering role of our founders that our founders had in looking beyond their respective borders for a greater Africa by working together. And we knew we had to hit the call when the support for African MSMEs came. At the end of May 2021, we started the combined access to capabilities, access to finance through MSME training for financing. We are working in 8 countries where we launched the initiative in 2020 with AUD and NEPAD, with the capacity building and knowledge sharing webinars for MSMEs. These countries are Togo, my home country, Chad, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Kenya, Niger, Nigeria, and Rwanda. And of course, we have the whole Africa as our scope. We just started there. It's imperative to move it forward. The financing training, which commenced on the 9th of June, is being delivered virtually and is managed by EcoBank in the 8 countries with strong support from our EcoBank Academy. It comprises 4 modules covering such topics as risk management, building sustainable and being project and being bankable, adapting operations to changes, business compliance and leadership, and a complementary legal model delivered by AUDA NEPAD. At the time of registration, almost 3,000 micro small SMEs registered their interest in the program. Out of this number, 850 currently meet the established criteria for training program. We expect to provide financing to participants who successfully complete the training and also meet the criteria for financing. While we may not be able to train all interested MSMEs, the number shows the potential to expand economic opportunities in Africa. This cannot be something that we do one time alone when there is crisis. It has to be something that we do as an organization, and honestly, all of us across Africa on a longer term basis. Therefore, EcoBank, we have a long-term view of providing some support needed to the MSMEs, and have earmarked up to $500 million across our footprint as we continue to assess the impact on our work and expand progressively. As we pause to reflect on the power of partnership, we do believe that there's room for more partners to join us in this endeavor to further extend the reach. In choosing to de-risk the MSMEs, we're giving them access to working capital and expanding their markets. We are pleased with the progress we are making with AUD and NEPAD and remain committed to expanding the program to all EcoBank markets and, of course, all African markets. Finally, please allow me to express my deepest gratitude to His Excellency Dr. Mayaki for putting partnership at the center of African transformation and also for accepting to participate in graduation ceremony for the successful entrepreneurs that will be held in July 2021. Once again, thank you for giving EcoBank the opportunity to be part of the positive narrative and development of our great continent. And I congratulate every single person and organization who made this happen. I thank you.
And we thank you, CEO, of course, Mr. Ayeyemi, CEO of the EcoBank Transnational Incorporated. It sounded weird when I said just transnational, so it's EcoBank Transnational Incorporated. Thank you very much for all the support. We are very humbled by this commitment. While we were designing the initiative, we identified 2 important aspects, not so visible, but also not to be overlooked. The first one was the need to build quickly internal capacity. As much as we are grateful for the high level in the technical assistance and consultancy our partners have provided, it is always important for us, for the sustainability and for the ownership, that we have what we call warm bodies or staff on AUD and NEPAD's payroll. The second aspect is that the initiative should cater for the needs of micro, small, and medium enterprises without missing any segment. We are grateful that the United States government was receptive to these specific needs and willing and able to swiftly help us address them. I am now handing over to Ambassador Jessica Lappin from the U.S. Mission to the African Union to tell us more on the ongoing support of U.S. agencies and U.S. government to the 100,000 MSMEs initiative. Ambassador?
Good afternoon. Thanks, Fati. Thanks for the introduction and invitation to join everyone in today's commemorative event. Like Commissioner Sarah, I'm hopeful that internet will hold from Addis today. So picking up where previous speakers have left off, there's clearly an extraordinary number of outstanding and committed partners. It's foundations, private sector, financial institutions. So for us as U.S. government, we're really honored to be joining this group, and also think that the effort you have made to pull together a group of partners is really admirable and more effective. Since the COVID-19 global pandemic began, institutions and governments have responded in many ways. You'll recall early on, consumer good companies provided PPE. Supply and logistics firms leveraged existing supply and delivery systems. Think tanks and consulting firms contributed thought leadership. And bilateral and multilateral institutions rapidly transformed development projects into COVID response interventions. Almost immediately, global leaders knew the pandemic would not just negatively impact the health systems of countries and populations, but could also devastate economies. And as in much of the rest of the world, smaller businesses in Africa, micro businesses, SMEs, certainly startups, all began to feel the financial brunt of this rapidly spreading disease. So the AU and UNECA moved quickly and on a number of fronts to lead the continental response. Africa's CDC galvanized African heads of state and ministers of health to develop a continental strategy for a public health response. AU Commission Chairperson Faki, AU Assembly Chair President Ramaphosa, AU Special Envoys, and UNECA Executive Director Vera Sangwe all led the political, diplomatic, and international economic response. Crucially for our discussion today, Ade NEPAD, our longstanding partner, also moved quickly, and I must say very practically, to reorient the MSME initiative we're reflecting on this afternoon, reaching 100,000 MSMEs during and beyond COVID. Picking up on Dr. Mayaki's point, how can we already think beyond COVID? I think what's exciting is the goal is more ambitious than simply reaching 100,000 African MSMEs. And beyond COVID is key. As a global community, we've realized the pandemic has turned into a prolonged reality with impacts far beyond the health sector. So today, on behalf of US government, I'm very pleased to discuss our support for this important initiative. The US Mission to the African Union with the US Agency for International Development, or USAID, and the US International Development Finance Corporation, known as the DFC. We've all joined efforts to provide critical partnership support and engagement for this program. We've committed $340,000 to provide direct technical assistance to AUDA through targeted funding this year. That will enable critically needed expertise on a full-time basis, the warm bodies that Fati described. We'll also be able to provide the AU Youth Advisors, which we do in partnership with the AU Youth Division, and I acknowledge the leadership of Commissioner Sarah. We'll also look to leverage and fund Stanford University's SEED program. Through this program, AUDA and Stanford will provide scholarships for African CEOs and company founders. In addition, the DFC will critically provide financing tools and resources to contribute directly to reaching tens of thousands of African MSMEs. This year, DFC will engage with select local African banking groups to provide guarantees or loans to support financing access for MSMEs and help connect these banking groups to AUDA NEPAD support services and platforms. In turn, AUDA will provide support services to the MSMEs across the continent that are receiving this DFC-supported financing. DFC will continue to work with this initiative in subsequent years, leveraging support from USAID to partner with African financial institutions focused on MSMEs across the continent. So our part is only part of a larger picture, and we're very proud to make this contribution and this commitment, but also to join the range of excellent and accomplished resource partners that AUDA-NEPAD has leveraged for this extraordinary undertaking. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Lapen, and happy that the spirits of internet connection from Addis were favorable to us. As an AU institution, the activities of AUDA-NEPAD aim at delivering on our Agenda 2063, and specifically, as Commissioner Agbor mentioned, on the vision of a prosperous Africa. This vision is obviously aligned with the mission of the United Nations Development Programme, or UNDP, of ending poverty. It was therefore only natural from us to reach out to UNDP as a priority potential stakeholder within the UN system. And again, like other partners, the sister organization showed up and continues showing up. We trust that we are at the beginning of an exciting and fruitful journey with the UNDP for the benefit of African private sector. But let me give the floor to UNDP, represented by Ms. Ahuna Eziakonwa. She's Assistant Administrator and Regional Director for Africa, so that she can share the organization's perspective on the partnership and what has been delivered jointly so far. Ms. Ahuna, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Fati. As you can see, I am not Ms. Ahuna. I'm Stan Kwan, Director of the UNDP Regional Service Center for Africa, and I'm representing Assistant Secretary General Ahuna Eziakonwa, who is the UNDP Africa Director and who couldn't make it, who sends greetings and her continued commitment. So I'm happy to represent UNDP here. Thanks again very much, and I'd like to recognize my sister, Commissioner Agbo, and and CEO Fayaki for their leadership in this very important initiative. UNDP is happy to be part of it. We are involved in this not as a parallel type of activity, but in a very integrated manner with our strategic offer in Africa, which has at regional level an impact, a very important impact area in economic transformation, and MSMEs are a critical part of this effort. So the MSMEs initiative is fully aligned with our ongoing work in this area, and so it's been very easy for us to partner with the AUDA in this effort. We are hoping that our partnership brings, that we can help to connect our regional presence through our regional program here. With our presence at country level, harness our presence at regional and country level to make sure that we can support the translation of this initiative from concept to actual results on the ground. And I'd like to share with you some of the examples of what it is that we've been doing. Before I start, I just want to inform you we have shared a more detailed presentation. So if the internet goes off, at least that presentation is available and will be shared with participants. Over the past year, we have continued to, we have maintained our commitment to this effort across its three very important areas of focus: establishing an African MSMEs Academy, facilitating MSMEs access to financing, and strengthening an African MSMEs marketplace. And through our financial contribution through our regional program, we have been able to support the launch of an MSMEs digital platform in 5 countries in Africa: Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Burundi, and Tanzania. The pilot launch of this academy took place in Mali and Burkina Faso in December 2020. And at this launch, there were in-depth discussions about UNDP's support to MSMEs in the Sahel region, as well as some of the challenges that we all have to face in this area. The academy was launched in Senegal, Burundi, and Tanzania in February this year, and the launches were followed by training for MSMEs. We are also supporting the MSME Academy platform. Training programs have been developed and specifically targeted at meeting the needs of MSMEs that have been registered on the AUD and the platform. Training has been done in a number of thematic areas, including business compliance, operations, financial management, and marketing. And some 20,000 MSMEs are registered on that platform, and they're being offered training. Approximately 350 MSMEs from 15 different countries are being trained through the platform. Now, to share with you briefly a number of other examples of what it is that we are doing in this area, and I will refer to specific countries where some of that activity is happening. In Rwanda, for example, through the Youth Connect platform, which is designed to connect the youth for socioeconomic transformation, working socioeconomic transformation. There are some 2,000 youth-led SMEs that have been supported through incubation, and over 2,500 youth-led businesses and cooperatives have been supported, including 640 startups that have been mentored. And we estimate through the feedback from these MSMEs that some 20,000 jobs have been created. The Youth Connect effort in Rwanda is being replicated in 12 other African countries. In Kenya, we are supporting the Green Economy Youth Activation Program. We are harnessing the engagement of youth in the green economy and promoting entrepreneurship in the forestry and agroforestry value chains. We're working with youth innovators and also with government platforms such as the Huduma White Box in Kenya, country innovation centers, and the Biashara centers. So in South Africa, we are implementing what is called the Global Environment Facility Small Grants Program. And through that, we have been supporting implementation of the government's national biodiversity economic strategy targeting marginalized MSMEs and informal businesses. We are also involved in many other areas, among which are the provision of support to MSMEs for the rollout of low-cost internet to rural areas, a very vital tool in their work. Very briefly, I'll share with you, some 4 quick examples as well. In Uganda, UNDP has a partnership with Jumia. For those who know Jumia, it's a Pan-African e-commerce company. Through that partnership, we've been able to adapt the existing Jumia e-commerce platform to cater to a new market segment of informal market vendors. The strategies include taking informal market vendors online and introducing market agents and supportive pickers. Some results already in this area. Some 1,500 vendors are connected to sell their food products online, 63% of whom are women and youth. And some of them have succeeded in doubling their daily revenues. Moving forward, we hope to scale this up by taking informal markets online as well and aggregating small online vendors to widen access to online consumers. Secondly, we are involved in inclusive business development and the research and initiative that has been going on since 2016. The ecosystem development approach developed by UNDP, which is combining the establishment of collective action platforms, building local business ecosystems, coordinating business ecosystem members, and this can be applied to any impact opportunity that involves the private sector. And there are examples of this in Lesotho, Senegal, and Uganda. Thirdly, in Ethiopia, UNDP has helped to launch an entrepreneurship development program, which has been going on since 2013 and has, with a budget so far of some $13 million. This was launched in 2013, as I say, and the EDP, as it is called, seeks to increase competitiveness and enhance employment creation potential of micro and small enterprises, particularly for youth and women. And it is primarily implemented by the Entrepreneurship Development Center in Ethiopia, which is an entity that is being supported by UNDP to institutionalize entrepreneurship. To date, EDC has supported more than 32,000 MSMEs in Ethiopia, direct end-to-end, including through training. The final example I want to share with you is the Build Malawi Fund in Malawi, of course, which is a growth accelerator for SMEs that UNDP is supporting. It's a financing window to address the fundraising gap for companies in Malawi that are seeking to raise growth capital. It seeks to address the SDGs and plans to provide pre- and post-investment support through dedicated technical assistance. To date, the fund has a portfolio. 75% of that portfolio comprises companies in agriculture, livestock, and fisheries, and the remaining 25% in manufacturing and financial services. So these are some of the examples that I wanted to share with you. Like I say, we are trying to harness our presence, our regional and country presence to support the AUDA initiative in translating this initiative into results at local level. As the COVID-19 pandemic has struck, a number of areas have emerged as well, and the importance of the informal sector has also emerged as a very critical element. And we hope that in our scale-up activities going forward, this will be one area on which we focus together, and we will continue to strengthen our commitment to this partnership with the AUDA and other partners involved in this initiative to make sure that we can all collectively contribute towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2063 in the region. I've shared a more detailed presentation that can be shared with participants. Thank you all very much, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkwane. We will ensure that all participants receive the presentation that you shared. And let's continue to keep the ball rolling between the two institutions. I mentioned earlier the inaugural training session we organized in December 2019 in partnership with EcoBank. For this session, we invited 100 of participants from all over the continent for a week-long boot camp in Lomé. This was to provide them with basic and advanced business skills. As you may know by now, 100,000 MSMEs initiative is also an initiative aimed at understanding better the needs of the micro, small, and medium enterprises, and also the impact of the services we provide to them. So we used this week to survey the MSMEs in all imaginable aspects. And this data fed into the evaluation of the training bootcamp. One of the findings was that even though it seemed more cost-effective to have training sessions at a continental scale, there were some missed opportunities that only a training contextualized at national or regional level could address. We were therefore thinking along those lines early 2020 when COVID-19 hit, and we had no other choice to reconsider entirely our training delivery strategy. The online training, which was initially considered as an addition to the face-to-face training, was now essential to the initiative. To train MSMEs, we've used Zoom, we've used MS Teams, and other conventional conference solutions, while we were also exploring options for a proper learning management system. And this is where Microsoft philanthropy comes in the picture, so to speak. Again, with great enthusiasm, collaboration spirit, and speed in delivery, Microsoft Philanthropy helped us build a platform that has the potential to help us efficiently reach hundreds of thousands of trainees. To officially launch the learning management system, I welcome Mrs. Ghada Khalifa, Director for Middle East and Africa of Microsoft Philanthropy. Mrs. Ghada, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the African Union Development Agency, New Partnership for Africa Development, for the collaboration and for the invite to participate in this important event. At Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Empowering every person means ensuring everyone has the skills, knowledge, and opportunity to succeed in the digital economy. As a company, we are committed to ensure that the digital transformation and the technology driving it creates economic opportunity for all. But this is a challenge that no one company can address alone. It will take a focused public-private partnership and approach to ensure everyone can participate in the digital economy. That is why we are committed to working across sectors with other businesses, educational institutions, governments, and international development agencies, because the more we can work together and empower others to do great things, the bigger and more lasting our collective impact will be. And this is one of the reasons why we are so excited about the partnership with UNIPAD and this initiative. In a post-COVID-19 world, all people, especially those from hardest hit industries and most vulnerable communities, which the MSMEs are among the worst hit during the lockdown and even beyond. According to the Economic Commission for Africa, firms and businesses in African cities are highly vulnerable to COVID-19 related effects. SMEs account for 80% of employment in Africa. UNIPAD and its collaborating partners a year ago launched the 100,000 MSMEs program, intending to accelerate Africa's economic transformation, provide skills development programming, and build resilience against the shocks triggered by the global pandemic. In the response to the challenge of COVID-19, many businesses embraced digital transformation, from creating tools for food deliveries and learning from home to migrating services online. At the same time, governments facilitated these shifts with swift enabling policies. These efforts bode well for expanding economic activity and job creation across the continent. We are proud to be associated with this program and congratulate UNIPAD on the feat achieved so far in our bid to ensure the scalability and sustainability of the program as part of the commemorating the first anniversary of the 100,000 micro and medium and small enterprises. Microsoft Philanthropies is excited to announce the availability of the MSME training platform in collaboration with UNIPAD. The MSME training platform is an online learning platform where MSME can access digital skills training and other relevant training content to help them in their entrepreneurship journey. This content includes business processing, productivity, tools, content, which is available in both English and French. This platform supports learning on the go while user experiences learning through videos and quizzes, even on low bandwidth or low connectivity, while accessing the course content. Learners can connect and interact with peers and experts in their communities to enable social learning. Lastly, learners can also use the platform to track activities and stay updated on updates sent by the administrators. As we speak, we have developed similar platforms with governments of Egypt and Nigeria and Kenya and South Africa, and the feedback of the uptake of these different platforms and learning environment in these countries has been overwhelming and encouraging. In closing, let me use this opportunity to commend UDANIPAD again and all its partners in their role in ensuring economic recovery for MSMEs on the continent, and we believe our collective efforts will bring the expected change and impact in the years to come. We would continue in our support in achieving the ambition of the 100,000 MSME initiative to reach over 1.5 million small, medium, and micro enterprises in Africa by providing entrepreneurial and business skills training, improving their access to finance and new markets, while overall establishing network for support and incubation. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Khalifa. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we didn't have the video, but this is fine. I'm happy that the LMS platform is now available with training content that we have developed and uploaded on the website for the benefit of African micro, small, and medium enterprises. I wish to welcome now our last speaker representing the World Bank Group. The World Bank is a long-standing partner of the African Union. They know perfectly what we stand for, how we operate, what our challenges are, and how we can better address them within our African Union context. It is within this broad partnership that we as AUD and APAD were able to reach out to the World Bank and engage about the 100,000 MSMEs initiative. The response, again, was swift and very substantive. Let's hear from Mr. Walid Malik. He is a senior public specialist at the World Bank Group on the ongoing partnership between AUD and APAD and his institution. Mr. Walid, you have the floor. Thank you.
Do you hear me? Thank you so much, everyone. Fati, do you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, a special thank you to Commissioner Akbar and Dr. Mayaki and Mr. Amin and everyone else at NEPAD for the opportunity to join in this webinar session and share some of our views. Secondly, we appreciate the presence of all Ambassador Le Pen and all the other partners, both from the private sector and public institutions that have joined forces to help advance the 100,000 SME program in general, but overall, I think ODA NEPAD in promoting regional integration and economic prosperity in Africa. So we are very honored to be part of this exercise. I have prepared some slides, but if you can move to the next slide, what I would like to say is after the distinguished presentations on the nitty-gritty and the details of how small and medium enterprises that are being supported in different parts of Africa with the distinguished speakers, my focus is slightly shifting towards how the World Bank, of course, at the national level is supporting business development opportunity, and more so given the COVID-19 pandemic and its negative impacts. But today, I wanted to share our regional project, which supports capacity development of the AU and other AU organs. And in this particular case today, ODA NEPAD, in its efforts to bridge the gap in terms of youth entrepreneurship and business development and small businesses and how they can contribute and to the regional objective, which is the Africa free trade success. The objective of our project is simple. It helps AUC and organs to facilitate regional integration results and transformation through enhanced institutional efficiency. So the focus is more internal, but the goal has some external objectives where although by building internal capacity of institutions, you will see that there are two, second slide, please. Next slide, yes. It has two pillars. One is to strengthen internal capacity of an organ, in this particular order NEPAD, but also facilitate economic prosperity and partnership programs. And you will see that the link between internal capacity and how an institution facilitates partnership is critical, and that is one of the goals of the project. Next slide, please. All this is being supported, as was also mentioned, as part of the Agenda 2063, the institutional reforms that are taking place in the African Union, and the creation of ODA from NEPAD and its transformation to take on this additional responsibility and role within the continent to help implement African Union programs are consistent with the overall approach that this project has. And the portion which is yellow focused primarily in our project is to connect AU African citizens and globally, because one of the things which I wanted to highlight is this issue which was raised by other colleagues, is that entrepreneurship and business development of small businesses, although they are in Africa, but they have an intermittent link with the rest of the world. And that as angle should also be considered during the training programs, because lessons learning and good practices can be harnessed from anywhere in the world, not just Africa, for African businesses to prosper and succeed. Next slide, please. I would spend a little bit time on this framework, although it's a bit crowded. But from the project's point of view, it has three elements. One is the leveraging, the positioning, and connecting African businesses and stakeholders. And the project assists AUC, and in this case, ODA NEPAD, to leverage its position because of its continental outreach, help position businesses in their specific area of expertise and area of work, and help them connect. So all on these three fronts, if actions are taken, experience indicates that the outcomes, whether they are on knowledge exchange, whether it's on quality of business plans that are developed by small and medium enterprises, or the ability to affect change. And I think Microsoft clearly pointed out how technology can be used. And EcoBank expressed interest and ideas on how financing is leveraging this phenomena. And of course, the other partners have also expressed interest how they would like to collaborate and partner in moving this agenda forward. So from the capacity development project point of view, the interface is on data for development, because on the one side, and knowledge sharing on the other side, because both are reinforcing the policy objectives of ODA NEPAD, which is facilitating, which is leveraging, positioning, and connecting small and medium enterprises. And we are happy to support ODA NEPAD and AUC and other AU organs in this endeavor. And we thank ODA NEPAD to have approached us. And it is our privilege and honor to work with the continental institutions in supporting this agenda forward. And we stand ready to facilitate further knowledge exchange on this, so that the data for policy decision making and ODA NEPAD with respect to small, medium enterprises and the AU as a whole can be further improved. And we thank you again for this opportunity to participate. And if there are any questions offline, we're more than happy to respond to the specific details of the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We do have a few minutes before the closing ceremony. So I would like if Magnus and Lorna from Microsoft Philanthropies can come on and can take the stage and do the do the little demonstration of the learning management system, just to make use of the additional time we have. Is it possible?
Yes, that's possible.
In 3 minutes.
Yes, 3 minutes is fine. Thanks,
Thank you
Fati.
so much.
All right. Thank you so much, partners, for this event. And thanks again to the AUDA NEPAD group for the support they are showing to SMEs on the continent. So for the past couple of weeks, we have been working very closely with the AUDA NEPAD team to develop the learning platform for MSMEs. And so this is what I will be showing you today. Okay, so please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, it's fine. Go ahead, Lorna.
Yes, so this is the MSME Academy platform that we have developed in partnership with AUDA NEPAD. So as Gada mentioned, the purpose of this platform is to provide online learning for the MSMEs in a way where they can access the content easily and also taking into consideration the low bandwidth that is experienced in some parts of the country. So currently, the platform is available in English and French, so learners just have to select which language they want to proceed onto the platform with. And then when they get to the landing page, which is this one, they are already able to see all the content that's available on the platform. And then from there, they can decide whether they want to join, which will require them to sign in. So I've already signed in on another page, so I'll just go there and show you what that looks like. Yes, so once they log in, this is what they're going to see, which is the entire content library or course library. So they can see the content from AUDA NEPAD, they can courses. So you can currently see I have registered for 2 courses, which is business compliance and understanding my business. So it also shows here the number of courses that I have completed, which is currently 0, as well as my progress in the courses. And you can also see the certificates that I have received, which is none, because I have not completed any course so far on the platform. So once they complete a course, they are eligible to receive a certificate based on whether they've completed the content, and if there's a quiz, based on whether they have passed the quiz or not. So the last thing I wanted to also show is that we have content currently available in English. And when they scroll down, there's content available in French as well. And I believe that the AUDA NEPAD team will also be adding more content as we go along to add to the value that's available on the platform, and to make sure that we are providing an excellent learning experience for the MSMEs on our continent. So that is all for the demo. So thank you so much. And again, we are so happy to be part of this partnership.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lorna. Thank you, Magnus. Thank you, Ms. Khalifa. And happy we were able to squeeze in the demonstration of this very important tool. I know that French is in the bottom, but I will not respond to that. We are now heading slowly to the end of the session. I will hand over to Dr. Ibrahim May for a few closing remarks.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Fati. Your Excellency, Commissioner Sarah Agbo, CEO Ayeyemi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This milestone was achieved thanks to existing and upcoming partnerships with most organizations present here today. Our gratitude goes to Commissioner Sarah Agbo from the African Union Commission for her strategic leadership, support, and I will say energetic support. I would like to particularly thank McKinsey and EcoBank, who have believed in this initiative from its inception. Other partners who have brought expertise on funding, I repeat again, include UNDP, the World Bank, UNIDO, USAID, CNAPS, and Microsoft. I call upon all interested partners to join us in this umbrella initiative. And umbrella is a very significant context, concept in the context in which we are here in South Africa, which will work as an accelerator of African micro, small, and medium enterprises. Let's continue joining forces and build the Africa we want. Thank you very much. Over to you, Fati.
Thank you very much, CEO. Now to Commissioner Sarah Agbo. Excellency, we thank you for staying with us for the entire session, and kindly grace us with your closing remarks. Thank you.
It's a duty. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Excellency, Big Brother. Thank you, distinguished experts. Thank you, partners, colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to make a few closing remarks and express gratitude to all those who made this event a reality. In the last 2 hours or so, we have covered a number of critical game-changing issues that will enhance the micro, small, and medium enterprises landscape in Africa. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I join my voice to extend sincere gratitude to EcoBank, Mr. Ade Ayeyemi, and to the McKinsey groups for their support over the years. I'll beat you. The objective of this engagement was very clear and far-reaching. At a time like this, and as we have seen, we cannot overemphasize the importance of partnership in this endeavor. Partnerships are at the heart of achieving Agenda 2063, the strategic framework for the socio-economic transformation of the continent. And we sincerely, and we sincerely appreciate our partners for joining us in this journey towards expanding economic opportunities for youth in Africa. It is in this wise I join my big brother to call on all potential partners to join us in this umbrella initiative. The impact of public and private interventions on capacity building, financing and financial structures, and secure digital payment systems cannot be overemphasized. While we realize some promising milestones, we need more and better data on the financing for small and medium enterprises, especially in fragile countries and those emerging from conflict. Data is essential to understanding the totality of market access and financial inclusion. I am happy that some survey was embedded throughout the implementation of this initiative. More and better data will help us to identify where the gaps exist, where barriers lie in demand and supply of finance, and the impact of specific intervention we make. We have our work cut out for us. Auda Nepal, as Auda Nepal CEO, Dr. Mayaki urged us earlier, we need to be practical and identify actions for today and tomorrow while strengthening and upscaling capabilities, markets, and finance. As we strive to show results,
Excellency, we lost you.
As we strive to show results from this initiative, we also need to document our pathways and journey to share this experience. Fati, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please proceed.
Yes, we can.
Fati, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So we have our work cut out for us as our Auda Nepal CEO, Dr. Mayaki, urged us earlier. We need to be practical and identify actions for today and tomorrow while strengthening and upscaling capabilities, markets, and finance. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we strive to show results from this initiative, we also need to document our impact, pathways, and journey. To share this experience, we must tell the story of how MSME growth through the initiative has contributed to job creation, equitable economic development, and poverty alleviation. On this, the academia and researchers must not be left behind as we curate the evidence base for our policy and programmatic interventions. We are counting on the commitment of everyone here and that of your colleagues to make a meaningful difference in our youth through this program. I hope you will maintain the enthusiasm and energy on this, and I look forward to our continued conversation and collaboration. Merci beaucoup pour tous. That's the French I'm going to speak here, Fati. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Excellency. Thank you for sharing this energy with us, and also for your guidance and your strategic leadership throughout.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
On those words, the session is now adjourned. Thank you all for attending, and we wish you a safe and fruitful week. Thank you.